Network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into a Thursday edition of Running Point on YSNLive.com. Anthony Hartwig, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin. How could I forget that? Brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. I threw off my whole day. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell. Your voice is on the mend, and you're back with us today. We missed you yesterday, bud.
Yeah, and I mean it's getting there too. Just trying to get it back to full strength. So yeah,
You just went too hard in that Fitch Canfield game. That's all.
yeah. There, I mean, happens.
You rocked too hard, and we were able to have you back for the game last night. Obviously, you got some interviews, and now you're good enough to do this.
It was a lot of tea drinking, a lot of eating cough drops, Anthony. And if you would have heard me, folks, yesterday morning, believe me, you probably wouldn't have heard me on the show yesterday morning from where my voice
sounded like a daily cup of coffee on news. What is it? News Talk Radio.
I don't know why the mornings are just always worse too.
I'm not a doctor, but I feel like if you've been I always wake up with a dry mouth anyway. So.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. As far as like the weather in the winter, the mornings are always worse because I have sinus issues anyway throughout winter, because especially when the winter's like this, when we're going up to 50 degrees one day, down to 20, I'm going to have sinus issues anyway. All that paired with the fact that I have to be at about 150 decibels when I'm talking about games or when I'm broadcasting a game too. I was trying to do that Tuesday and my throat just said, you need to stop.
You went to 10 and your body was like, you need to be at like a 6.
But we're back today. Had a lot to talk about yesterday, too. I missed Scotty's trivia. I missed Gary.
He tried to get me, and I needed some hints, but I got the question right. So I was like, yes.
As Scotty. Oh, you got a scoreboard now running against Scotty.
Yeah.
You should keep your trivia confined to like Georgia Tech, Chiefs, and Kansas City Royals. And if Scotty stumps you on that.
My trivia question, I don't know if you were tuning in or not. My trivia question was, what were the two actors that were extras in Field of Dreams during the game scene that went on, obviously, to have good careers in the acting industry, but they were in the crowd as extras together in that movie. So that was my question. I needed a couple of hints, but I got it after one of the hints. I was like, yeah, I know that, but I wouldn't have guessed it just on the question.
Scotty bringing some sadistic questions in for me too.
No, because I told them I was like, I'm good at like pop culture stuff, like movie questions, things like that. And then he hits me with like still tie level questions. You were extras in the Field of Dreams. I've never stared at the stands in Field of Dreams. I'm sorry. So without further ado, we're a little off the rails. Let's get back to it. We do have Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley nominees to talk about. I want to do that first, so we give you guys, the fans, and YSN Nation as much time to vote during our show as possible. Maybe Anthony could get a win today in our Price is Right challenge with
maybe
time available.
Maybe.
Let's go to our nominees. Voting is live, and you can go to ysnlive.com/bigdogs to vote for your favorite players. We start with the girls poll, which is on the top this week. I feel like it alternates every week, top, bottom. And we have a repeat nominee, J.C. Mullen of Springfield, 33 points against United last week. Obviously, that is good enough to get you on the list. So JC Mullen back on the list today from Springfield, and what can you say about one of the premier players in the MVAC Scarlet tier?
Yeah, and I mean power rank Springfield at that too. So I mean, you look at the Lady Tigers; they're doing a good thing. They're doing good things over there, and JC Mullen's a big factor in that.
More than a penny, JC is rocking. You move on to the next one, someone that we're both familiar with. We've both done a game. Sophie Hook of Brookfield, one of the premier ball handlers and guards of the area, can score from anywhere on the floor, can get her own shot from anywhere on the floor. And it's no surprise that she's on the list, I believe, for the second time as well.
She's gonna bait you and don't reach, young blood. She's got you that line and sinker, and you've already bitten that. You already took the bait, and she's already at the hole scoring on you.
Yeah, if you play bad defense, get the hook ready because you're gonna be pulled out of that game real quick.
Send Hook. I love send Hook.
Alyssa Dill, the high flying. I don't even want to like forward. I guess maybe guard forward. She plays a little bit of everything for Canfield. I've seen her bring the ball down at the point when Summer Samarone wasn't in the lineup, but she also gets in the high post, works from the wings, can shoot the three ball pretty well. Very versatile athlete in Canfield, and we've been watching her do it for a while.
Yeah, the AAC is loaded with all kinds of talent this year, and Alyssa Dill is no exception to
I don't
that.
want to spoil anything, but I think there's another AAC player
there
further down the list.
Yeah, there is. There happens.
We continue, though, before that, with Lavrane Gaskins of Crestview has been impressing the last couple weeks. The freshman is really starting to find a groove, a big reason why Crestview is on a 4-game winning streak.
Just getting on a big dogs list as a freshman is very impressive, too. So props to the Lady Rebels and looking at Gaskins. It's a name that we've been hearing a lot, too, and I love the name Lavrane Gaskins, too. I think that's a cool name. It rolls off the tongue really well, too. And that's a great basketball name, I feel like.
Well, you know, when it Lavranes, it pours. So.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
I'm bringing the puns today. It's mine. Zeta Creaky gets on the list for the second time this year, and pretty much the last week. I mean, I know she had a great performance last night, but last week she also had, I believe, a 26-point performance that got her on this nominees list.
She had 28 last night. She had a 37.
37 too, right? Almost
37 versus Twinsburg. Actually, in the Falcons' 4-game winning streak, Zeta Creaky is averaging 23.5 points per game in those 4 games. So if that tells you what you need, we call her the key in Austin Town, and she is. When the offense locks up, you always have a key on it to unlock everything. And it seems like once she starts going, everything else starts clicking as well. And Zeta Creaky, no doubt, I think well deserving again.
When she's scoring well, Fitch is saying, "See you, Zeta."
Yeah.
Now we move on to the last, but not least, in the Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley nominee, and it is a record holder at LeBray, scoring 39 points to break the program's record for single game scoring. It is Laura McCoy, the Vikings' premier scorer, and even though Liberty held her to 2 points in their win on Monday, still a very great addition to the Vikings team.
Yeah, no doubt, and she's been huge for the Vikings too. And that big scoring performance. Yeah, we said her name's going to be in the halls now for LeBray for some time now.
I mean, like when you break records, you're going to get on the list. That's just it's one of the unwritten rules of Ysn Big Dogs of the Valley. So just to recap the nominees for the girls, once again, JC Mullen of Springfield, Sophie Hook of Brookfield, Alyssa Dill from Canfield. We have Lavrane Gaskins from Crestview, Zeta Creaky from Fitch, and Laura McCoy from LeBray. We move on to the boys' lists, and we enter with Cole Daly, East Liverpool 6'6" senior, one of 10 seniors on the team, and I think he's averaging over 30 a game. I don't think I'm exaggerating with that. He's just one of the reasons why East Liverpool's unanimous number 1 in the power rankings. Monster. And what's great, what I love about him is when he walks in the court, not someone you would point out and say this kid's gonna hurt us, but then all of a sudden you get on the court and you realize really quickly on the daily that he's gonna put in the work.
I mean, when you bring 10 seniors into a team, I mean, there's a lot of good things that you expect to happen, and Cole Daly's kind of the kingpin out of all those seniors that comes in, and when you're averaging, like you said, anywhere near 30 points a game, you're the real deal.
And if we're going to start calling him the kingpin, then he better get his white suit ready and let all of East Liverpool know and remind everybody that this city belongs to me. Because that's what he's going to do on the daily. So we move from him, Drew DeShields, scoring 26 against Ravenna, and he's one of West Branch's main offensive scorers. They are undefeated for a reason. Jackson Hendershot, obviously one of the premier 3-point shooters in the area, but don't forget about Drew DeShields' ability to score. He's on the list as well.
Yeah, and I mean a very good quarterback too for the West Branch Warriors this past year, and he plays a very good basketball game as well.
He go, I don't believe. I might be wrong, but I don't think I think he'd be the first to win in football and basketball the next.
I don't know if there's
but
I don't know if there's been an athlete that's won big dog in 2 different sports.
I'm sure it's happened, but I can't think of one right now. I'm sure there's been like a volleyball, basketball, softball.
Yeah, maybe. I'm talking more or less on the boys' side. I don't know if there's been.
There might have been a football, basketball, baseball.
There might have been. I don't know. Basketball, baseball, probably might have been that one. That one might be slipping my mind.
So we'll do some diving and research and see if that's true or not. But he has a chance to win in football and in basketball. And don't forget, he's a very good baseball player. A lot of people think baseball might be his best sport. So maybe Drew might go 3 for 3. Who knows?
We'll see.
Get your DeShields ready, because the storm's coming. Next is Ronnie Leonard, one of the reasons why Struthers is doing so well and impressing so many people off to their 4-2 record. Ronnie Leonard coming on the scene as one of the new faces in the Wildcats program.
Yeah, you got to respect the Cats for a reason, and Ronnie Leonard's a huge reason behind that, as the Struthers Wildcats have looked good all year and continuing to impress, as they are right now, I think, favorites in the NA8 until someone says they're not.
I am struggling for a pun. I really am. You got anything?
For Ronnie Leonard? I don't know.
I'm struggling.
It's pretty straight up. You're the one who started going with these puns with all.
I know. I dug myself into a hole and now I can't get out of it. Next for South Range, Aiden Leone, and South Range record-wise might be struggling, but Aiden Leone put up a 24-point performance against Power Rank Springfield, the big reason why the Raiders were able to push the Tigers all the way to triple overtime, and he gets on the list for that performance.
Yeah, it was a good performance too against one of the area's best teams, and you have good performances like that, even in losing efforts, they can get recognized too, and we recognize here.
And people said, well, he had 7 quarters to do it. Don't forget, Aiden Leone fouled out during the first overtime, I believe, so he did not have 7 quarters to do it. He fouled out in that game. He scored most of his 24 in regulation. So don't try to shortchange Mr. Leone. That Leone, by the way, is Latin for lion, and the lion is roaring in South Range. And now we move on to the Leopards. James Davis gets on the list for the second time as the Liberty Leopards continue to put on a show inside the MVAC, not under the radar anymore, especially after their win on Tuesday night.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think the Liberty Leopards are going to have a very fun, great conference tier schedule when we look at the in-conference games, and there's going to be a lot of close ones, I think.
Going to Garfield, getting the win, very impressive for Liberty, and James Davis, a big reason why. Last but not least on the list, we have Rocco Turner of Cardinal Mooney, and he was a big reason why the Mooney Cardinals were able to upset Cheney on Tuesday night, 50-38.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at that win, that's a huge win too, and one that I would think has huge implications on power rankings at some point too. All these SVC teams got to play each other. That's probably one of the bigger wins of Mooney's season this year. And you look at what else they've beaten now. Mooney also has a win over number 10 Struthers this week. So you look at all those wins, and I mean, then you have to look at some of the losses. Yeah, they lose to unranked teams, but they've beaten a decent amount of ranked teams. So this might be enough to move Mooney up a little bit.
Well, I mean, you beat Cheney, who's the 3 team. I think that's enough. And the latest episode of Rocco's Modern Life, brought to you by Baird Brothers, Big Dog of the Valley. Let's go back and recap the boys' nominees real quick. Cole Daly of East Liverpool, Drew DeShields of West Branch. We have Ronnie Leonard of Struthers. We have Aiden Leone of South Range. We have James Davis of Liberty and Rocco Turner from Cardinal Mooney. So now, without further ado, We are going to say what the total is right now between both girls and boys voting. And then, Ty, once again, you have the opportunity to either make me go first or go first yourself, since you have won the first 4 weeks of Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley. Right now, the total is 6,099 plus 6,099 for the girls. So 6,099 plus, and then we have 2,531 for the boys. So right now, Ty, the total is at an even 8,630. It is 12:15. You have until 150. 150. Let's just say is when we'll check these numbers. You gonna make me go again?
Yeah, I will.
Of course. 8,630. I'm gonna go big. I'm gonna see if you'll undercut me. See if you have the guts to undercut me. Try to undercut these fans because you've been riding their flag for a long time.
I have.
I'm gonna say 11,000.
That's that one.
11,000. So just under 2,500 votes in an hour. Two hours, I should say.
What are they at right now?
8,630.
8,630. You're at 11. What is the grace we wanted to give to 200?
I feel it was 200 for the one show. Now if we have to push it to tomorrow, then it's 1,000. Watch him go 11-2. You.
I go the same one as you. Let's go because it's a Thursday, not a Friday. I'll undercut you, but I'm gonna undercut the other way. I'm gonna go. I want to give myself a decent amount though because I can't go over what it is. But if I give myself a good range, if I go 10,000, I realistically give myself 1,000 votes to play around with. As long as they don't exceed 11, I win. I'll go 10,000.
Yes.
If they show up big enough to get 11,000, you deserve the win.
Why is it, Nathan? For the first time, Ty does not believe in you, and he undercut you. I believe in you, so get out and vote. YSNLive.com.
YSN Nation, he doesn't believe in you. He's just trying to beat me. There's no believing in you. He's just gonna make the numbers so unrealistic that I can't go higher for it. I keep goals realistic, small goals, and then we work bigger. YSN Nation, start with 10,000. We'll work to 11,000 after.
YSNLive.com/Big Dogs is where you go to vote. We'll talk to two Big Dog winners today. We have a debuting an interview with Alyssa Pompalia of Howling that we're going to be debuting off air. It was an off air interview. And then we're going to be talking to Jenna Mclish live. So those were the last two Baird Brothers Big Dogs of the Valley winners on the girls' side. Jake Gerdick, who won last week, will be with us Monday at 1 o'clock. So we got a lot of people coming on. We couldn't get Jake this week, but we got him next Monday right off the jump. So he should still be on. He'll be on after the voting closes.
If you win Big Dog, we try to bring you on the show. That's basically
we're doing everything we can.
Yeah.
It's also a hectic week because I know a lot of schools are in finals week right now. So
and we don't have the luxury of every single one of these big dogs being seniors either. So some of them don't get to leave school early to come on the show and help us out or have a bunch of free periods. Some of them are freshmen, sophomores, and have a full slate on their school schedule.
So we'll get to all that soon, but let's recap last night's action. It wasn't a huge night as far as quantity, but a huge night as far as quality. We had two games end in 1 point, and both of them went the way of YSN teams. And Ty, I won the night, by the way.
By one.
I don't care. Thank you to Livy Showalter, who who got the offensive rebound put back at the buzzer, and it gave West Branch the thrilling 32-31 win over Marlington. officially causing a logjam at the top of the EBC. Now, Salem, Marlington, West Branch, all with one loss. They've all beaten each other. Marlington's beat Salem. Salem's beat West Branch. West Branch has beaten Marlington. It's going to be a fun second half of EBC play.
And both of these teams are going to have to play Marlington again, and we know the Lady Dukes are not going to go away easy either. So it's going to be a fun matchup going into the second part of the season.
This was won obviously by the score. West Branch's defense did a wonderful job causing a lot of problems for the guards. Their length and their traps forced some turnovers down the stretch. Marlington was trying to, in my opinion, be a little bit too passive in the final minute of that game. They had the ball with a minute left, and they were just trying to avoid the turnover by passing it around the perimeter. They were only up at that point 31-29. I'm thinking to myself, you're only up 2. I would attack. Like, I would go to the hoop and try to score still. But they were trying to just make West Branch have to concede and foul them. And eventually they threw the ball away against that long trap of the Warriors, and Warriors got the ball back, hit a free throw. One free throw made it 31-30. They had to force another turnover for Marlington. They did. Sydney Mercer stole an inbounds pass, got it out to Gregory, who hit Sophie Mercer again. Mercer shot a 3. It didn't go. Showalter with the offensive rebound, put back at the buzzer. It did go. West Branch wins 32-31.
Yeah, and it's a big win for Coach DeShields and the Lady Warriors, but I know he would obviously hope that game doesn't come down to that close of a wire next time with Marlington. The adjustment game
hope,
be
but
really
I think
interesting.
he knows it will. I mean, I don't think I think he knows that to beat Marlington is going to be one of those sweat out games.
I mean, congrats to West Branch. You got the win and everything, but you got to also feel like West Branch escaped with one too. They were able to steal one off of Marlington.
Yeah, but then on West Branch's side, they say, well, Salem escaped with one against us.
Yeah, I mean,
so you escape with the win, you call it a win, you move on.
You absolutely you call it a win, but I'm just saying, teams that lose like that, and that's what I'm saying. West Branch and Salem, I'd be worried if I was Salem. Same case here, West Branch and Marlington, I'd be worried if I was West Branch. Next time coming up, because teams that lose like that, it provides a little extra fire going into the game.
I will say that we saw very vividly that Marlington's head coach, not pleased. He ran from his bench to the opposite corner of the gym just to have a last word with the referee. So after that, let's play. I don't even know. I watched it from our angle, which, by the way, Mike, what a call. But I watched it from our angle. I watched it from the athletic director's angle on the floor. I don't know what exactly he was upset about. The shot was in plenty of time before the buzzer. He was arguing that the steal was a foul. I don't know. But end of the day, the referees were like, peace out, we're out.
The referees called that shot, and they got out of there as quickly as possible. They were like, I'm done.
He still caught them. And got his final words in, then walked back to the bench to do what all respectable coaches have to do, and doing the handshakes and everything. He made sure to get back for that. So props for him for putting his frustration away and doing the sportsmanship thing. That
drops Marlington now to 9-1 on the season. And yeah, I mean, the matchups are going to be interesting now because West Branch has to go to Marlington yet too. So that's going to be interesting.
Marlington was a top 10 ranked team in the state AP poll too. I believe they were sitting at number 4. Interesting note in girls basketball as well, not in our YSN coverage map, but in our YSN region. In the same night, Northwestern, who is a state-ranked team in that Division 2, lost to CVCA. So 2 top 10 teams fall in Division 2. We could see a team like Salem, like Poland, who's sitting there with 1-loss records, break into that top 10 next week.
But now, you look at that now. Now you have to talk about what happens now going into power rankings, because that all of a sudden makes things a lot more interesting.
So now we continue with our finals, as once again West Branch gets the 32-31 win. It will be interesting. How about Canfield? They put their foot in the ground and got the AAC win, dominated Boardman absolutely in emphatic action, 59-14. The Cardinals get the win.
Yeah, and I mean, they've looked really good too. I think that's now a 2-0 record for them in the AAC with one against Fitch, one against Boardman. So looking really good to start the season in conference play. I'm really excited to see Canfield Howling, though.
No, that'll be fun. And I think Canfield's excited to see if they can finally, figure out this. They've been close against really good teams. They just have given up leads late. So they have to, I think they're going to try to really finish the game against Howland when they get there. I think that's going to be the key part for Canfield in the second half of the season. Cardinal Mooney gets the big win in round one of the Holy War, 49-36. Mooney's got bragging rights.
Yeah, over Ursuline, and Lady Card's looking good this season, and they have some good young talent. So does the Lady Irish, and I think they're starting to turn things around over there in Ursuline. But Mooney, I think at this point in time, was a little bit further ahead as far as development is concerned, and I think it showcased in the final score.
Fitch, you were there, 62-36. They get the win over Warren Harding to get a win in the AAC. I believe they're 1-1 now in the AAC, but like you said, 4-game winning streak for the Falcons as well.
First AAC win since the 2019-2020 season. They were winless in the AAC last year, so a big win for Coach Wilson and the Lady Falcons, and continuing to build that program as now they have 8 wins on the year, 8-5, as this is one of the hottest teams in town right now, and they are putting on a show. Young girls that are really scoring, and that was another big key. 9 different girls scored for the Falcons in this one, so they're utilizing a very young team, but utilizing a lot of girls from it.
You had the chance to talk to head coach Jeff Wilson and Zeta Creaky after the game. Let's hear what they had to say in their post-game press conferences on ysnlive.com.
Welcome back, everyone. Now I'm here with Coach Jeff Wilson and his son Patrick as part of a Fitch's 62-36 victory tonight. Coach, I talked a little bit with Zeta about this, but you guys as a team, obviously you coming in at the helm as a coach this year, but this team was winless in the conference last year, and this is only the second conference game, I believe, of the season, and you guys come away with a big victory over a quality opponent in the Lady Raiders. Just talk to me a little bit about what that does for a team's confidence and what that's doing for this team, and how impressed you are with this team after tonight's win.
Yeah, it's a big deal. One of the answers I gave Mr. Capizzello in the interview is we got to compete in the conference. And, that's not an indictment on my players last year, but there were some really good teams, but it's big in the sense that it just gives you more confidence, especially we're young, as you know, and that's really nice to get a conference win, kind of get that monkey off your back, if you will. And Warren, they play hard, man. They play hard. Coach Caputo's a great coach.
Talking about that first quarter, it seems like you guys were kind of jockeying for position on one another, but it seems like second quarter, and especially that second half, you really the team figured something out and fire was lit under them. What was kind of that locker room talk like inside, and what were you guys discussing that prompted another 60-point performance on the offense?
Yeah, to be transparent, I think that second group I brought a different tone that kind of sparked a fire, like you said. And I told a few of our starters, look, if you don't want to play D as hard as I know you can, then you can't play. And that lit a fire, and, whatever works. But, at halftime, I said, look, that second quarter, that's how you can play. You scored 20 points. You only gave up 8 or 10. That's what we want. And they thankfully bought into it and played a really good second half defensively, especially like I told Zeta, I'm proud of her defensive effort in the second half more than anything. I told her, I know you can score, but to get to that next level, to be a complete player, you really stepped up on D. So I'm proud of her and everybody's effort.
Of course, Zeta was our player of the game with 28 points, but I know you and I have talked so much and countless times about Zeta and how special she is. But one thing I want to highlight, 9 different players in the box score scoring tonight.
Awesome.
How important is that for you as a team, as a young team too, to have production from so many different girls, freshmen and sophomores alike as well?
Huge. It's I told him after the game in the locker room, that's what a basketball game should look like with that many in the box score, and just being confident. Rachel Spalding, for example, she was kind of tentative before her shot in the first half. She was more confident, knocked down a three to get some confidence. Being out a couple games, being quarantined and all that, and it's just big. Girls stepping up. The Jordan Binions, Andrea Moores, Lainey Hennings coming off the bench and contributing. When you got that, I mean, that's such a big deal to get people chipping in.
Looking at your next game, you go to Howling at Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 2:30 p.m. game. You're staying in the conference this time, hitting the road. I don't know how much you've seen of Howling, but looking at them, they look to have some pretty talented girls in Alyssa Masucci and as well as that Pompelia. Just talking about that Howling team. What is it going to look like defensively, trying to contain them? And just what are you guys expecting on Saturday without obviously giving away too much of the game plan? I know game's just ending here.
No, I've watched a lot of film on them. Haven't seen them in person, but a lot of film. And I'll tell you what, they play a schedule. They don't duck anybody, and they've hung with the Hoovers, and they've hung, I believe it was Hoover and Perry, I believe, and a couple others. And they do have some talented players. I heard of that Pompelia girl. She's a great player, and Coach Pounce, he's a good coach, and it's going to be physical. I know that, and playing there, and I told the girls, you just got to come with a great defensive effort. You come with the defensive effort, create turnovers, lead a transition, some easy buckets. You got a shot against anybody, and it should be a good game.
Final question for you, and it's more or less a statement I want you to make now to the Austintown community. I gave Zeta a little bit of a chance to self-promote herself, but just talk to me a little bit about how important it is for the Austintown community to come in and support you guys through this Baird Brothers Big Dog voting again for Zeta, but how important their overall support of you guys is going to be for the rest of the season.
No, it would be great, if we got more people here, and we've won 4 in a row. 8-5 right now, and the more people here to create a home advantage would be spectacular. I heard I think it was Coach from YSU Calhoun, about filling the stands, and you do, and sometimes you get those, coming from the boys' side, you get bigger crowds, and the girls are exciting to watch. They play hard, and I mean, so many girls getting on the ground tonight and playing hard. So it's a challenge to the Austintown community to come out and support, and you'll be impressed, win or lose. They're going to play their hearts out, and we'd love to see bigger crowds.
I'll put that challenge out to the Austintown community as well. This is one of the hottest shows in town. Lady Falcons on a hot streak, 4 in a row. 62-36 was the victory over the Lady Raiders, as Coach Wilson and his son Patrick joining us post game. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, guys. Say bye.
Welcome back, everyone. I am here with today's player of the game, Zeta Creaky, part of 62-36 win for Fitch over the Lady Raiders of Warren Harding. Zeta, 28 points on the night. And just talk to me, for a team that didn't win any conference games last year, how important is this to start off on the right foot and get that win?
It's really exciting going towards, in a year we haven't won a conference game, and the goal at the end of the season is to win conference, or at least as many conference games as we can, and coming out and playing. We had a rough first quarter, but then coming out the rest and playing hard and getting our first conference win, it's a really good accomplishment.
Talking about that too, I mean, obviously you had 28 points of offense on the night, but 9 players also scored on the evening too, so it was a lot of all-around scoring. What does that mean for you guys as a team? And talk to me about, is that chemistry continuing to grow? And it seems like it's getting stronger at this point of the season, stronger than it's ever been before.
The more we play together, the more we see how each other plays with each other in different ways to, I don't know how to explain it, like come together and see things that maybe other people might not see. And for example, like me and Ayla, we have really good chemistry with passing, and we'll know where each other are. Even if we're not looking at the pass, we'll just make off guard passes, and it just ends up good for us.
Talking about that first quarter, it looks like Coach Wilson took out a few of the starters and just put in some new girls, a little bit of new blood. We see coaches do that from time to time. What was kind of the message from Coach Wilson in that? And you talked about the struggles in the first quarter. What was kind of said in those timeouts? What was kind of said in between halftime that lit a fire under you guys?
First quarter, we all came out. We weren't really mentally there. We were making bad mistakes, stuff we shouldn't be making, things that we've practiced over and over again, and they just happened to not work out. And when he took us out, he was just like, you need to basically just get it together and play harder and not make as many mistakes, and then we'll succeed.
Zeta, I don't know if you know, but just before the game, we had Baird Brothers Big Dogs drop for week 5, and you were featured on the voting for the second time now in this very short season, thanks in part to the performances you've been putting up. You gave the call out for the fans to get out here and support for this game. You guys came away with a win. I want to give you the chance now to call out not only all the students, but call out everybody in the Austintown community about how you need this votes for Austintown, and vote Zeta Creaky for Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Week.
I was Big Dog of the Week. I was in the voting for it the first week, and I unfortunately didn't get it. So this week, I'm really hoping to get it, and I need as many people to vote as possible, and you're able to vote as many times as you can. So just keep voting and come away with me winning.
Vote Zeta Creaky for Baird Brothers Big Dog. She's having great performances. She had another one tonight, 28 points as a part of a 62-36 win. Thank you so much.
That was Jeff Wilson and Zeta Creaky after last night's Austintown Fitch victory.
Saw Destiny McCall and Ayla Ray helping her out a little bit too. throwing the background there in the background there. They're helping.
You love interview photo bombs.
I told them to. They were looking at me like, "Can we?" I was like, "Go for it." I don't go for it. I mean, teammates out there. I mean, repping it as another great performance. And what Coach Wilson always likes to say is, you trust the process, and he capitalizes the UNS in the trust part. And I mean, this is an exciting team. I mean, you look at it, one senior in Julia Senedak, and you're going to be returning pretty much this entire team again next year. So all the fun that you're having with this team this year, they have a whole other level that they can still get to. And exciting times in Austintown right now, especially on that girls' side.
Exciting indeed, and thank you for putting another plug in for Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley into that interview.
I mean, when you're interviewing a big dog candidate, I feel like it's a little bit hard not to mention it too. So
you got to.
So throw the mention in there, and hey, and if they want to have that chance to, you put up a performance like that, you have some time to get on the airwaves. I'm gonna give you the opportunity to do a little bit of shameless self-promotion and get out there and vote too if you feel like you deserve it. And another 28-point performance, I think certainly she's deserving.
Vote about 11,000 times. That'd be great for Anthony.
Yeah, for Anthony. Anthony would love for you to get right over 11,000 before 2 o'clock.
Before 2. Let's just do that. We're going to take our first break of the day. When we come back, we'll debut our interview with Alyssa Pompalia, the Howling girls basketball star that won Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley last week. So don't go anywhere. That's the next on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends: shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, shop with confidence knowing we're ready to go the extra mile for you. With the largest selection of used vehicles in the Valley, backed by the Greenwood Advantage Warranty. Every one of our vehicles has undergone our own 126-point inspection, so it passes the most important inspection, yours. No other dealership has the extra inventory, gives you extra for your trade, and goes the extra mile for you. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
For a great vehicle and a great experience, come to Boardman Mitsubishi today. As always, our full lineup of Mitsubishi models comes with a standard 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Boardman Mitsubishi, your hometown Mitsubishi dealer since 1999.
Coca's Pizza, always supporting our community and our local athletes. Stop in on game day or score big and have it delivered right to your door. Check out our daily specials at cocaspizza.com. That's Coca's Pizza, we serve it hot.
At Hubbard Chevrolet, Hubbard can help you get the financing you need, regardless of your situation. I'm Tony Page, and I've helped thousands of customers in Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania buy a vehicle. Visit HubbardChevy.com to get pre-approved. Remember, folks, Hubbard can help.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell as we venture into this Thursday, and we are debuting an interview with the Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley winner from last week. It was Howland's own Alyssa Pompalia that won it during that Christmas break, and we had a chance to talk with her off the air a couple of days ago. We're going to debut that interview now and see what she had to say about Howland getting her the votes and also how impressive this season is going so far for the Tigers. So without further ado, here is a conversation with Alyssa Pompalia of the Howland Tigers. Anthony Hartwig here with a player profile. We're joined by last week's winner of Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley, Alyssa Pompalia from Howland. Alyssa, thank you so much for joining us right before
Thanks
practice.
for having me.
Of course. Before we get to talking about your season and how it's going, talk about what it means to you that the Howland community came out and voted you Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley last week.
It means a lot to me, just knowing that anybody could vote, anyone from really anywhere. I think it's pretty cool, and yeah, it just means a lot to me that I know that I have those supporters, that people support me. Yeah.
How you're muted.
Talking about your games with Akron Hoban as of recently, just talk to me about that experience of getting to play with one of the state's top teams and actually being able to compete for quite.
Yeah, being able to play against them and actually like hang with them and be able to compete. Like at one time in the third quarter, we were only down by 8. Like just moving forward from that and taking that we can play with them, it really boosts our confidence, because it shows us that if we come to play, then we can play with anyone we want.
Talking about that game, and obviously going into it, you knew what Hoban was and what they had. What was kind of the game plan and some of the things that you wanted to accomplish in that game as a team when you came out of it?
It was to go out and play the best we can because we know how good Hoban is. We know that they are probably going to go to the state championship. And we wanted to come out being able to show everybody else what we can do and how we can hang with them. And we were able to. So it was pretty good.
How about some personal goals, both inside and outside of the basketball realm? What are some personal goals of yours?
Personally, I want to hit 1,000 points, and I'm supposed to do that sometime next week. So that would be like one of my big accomplishments that I've been working for.
Then when you think about the team goals that you set at the beginning of the season, what were some of the goals that you guys had as a team, and how much have you think you've accomplished them? Here we are just about halfway through the year.
I think we've accomplished more than what anybody's really thought that we could from last year. We didn't have the best year, but I don't really think anybody had the best year they could with COVID. We only played 14 games, which is a big difference than 22 games. So us just coming out this year and doing better than what we could or what we did do last year, I think it's pretty good for us.
Talk about your support system and who are some of the big influential names that have backed you for a long time and that you like to credit for your basketball career being what it is right now.
Definitely my dad. With growing up, he's always been like a huge basketball guy. So him coaching me and taking me to different like trainers and stuff, different gyms, I think that's helped a lot. And what made me like fall in love with the game, just growing up with it.
We go back to the start of the season and record-wise, not where you wanted to be. I know you guys were playing really tough teams, and they were games that were coming down to the wire, so you couldn't have been too disappointed. But as a team, how did you guys kind of band together and say that we're not going to be defined by losing those first couple of close games towards the end of the games?
Those first few games, I feel like they were really good. Like, they were good for us. Like, they were good losses. I mean, we definitely could have won out the first 4 or 5. We should have won them. And it sucks that we didn't, but we knew that we just needed to get it done. And we have been recently. And I think we won like 5 or 6 games before the Hoban game. So we've been coming. We're trying to get it done, and we have been. So
talk to me a little bit about your relationship with Coach Pounds and how he helps make you not only a better player but also a better teammate.
Coach Pounds, he always wants us to be like more uplifting with each other, and if we get down on ourselves or we get down on like other people, he makes sure that we bring everybody up and we're just positive with each other, which really helps when someone's like frustrated with themselves, or even if I'm frustrated with myself. He's just very positive.
This is Ysn's first year with Howling, whether it was football, volleyball, soccer, now the girls and boys basketball teams. One of the things that we realized real quick was the student support that you guys get, not just at the games, but on social media, is just fantastic. Talk about what it's like to be a part of a student body that supports you guys, not just the boys teams, but supports the girls teams just as hard.
I love it. Like, I have a lot of friends, and we're all really close at Howling. It's kind of like a big family because we're just all there for each other, and even like even students, but also like teachers and everyone, like everybody cares, and it's like we're just all we're all like one. Yeah.
What's one of your favorite Howling basketball memories or basketball memories in general? You don't have to pick out the number one favorite. Just give me one of your favorite ones offhand.
Probably one of my favorite, this is probably really bad, but probably one of my favorite would be Coach Pounds kicking us out of practice because one of my friends, she had 3 turnovers in a row versus our JV team. That was like 2 weeks ago. But it was pretty funny. That's probably a really bad favorite memory to have.
Hey, if it inspired you guys to play better, then
yeah, it really did. It helped.
Are you kind of a superstitious person that feels like you have to have a routine before games, warm-ups and everything, that if you don't go with this routine, you're going to feel off for the rest of the night?
Yeah, I wear the same clothes to every game, like literally the same thing. And I'll like keep these 2 hair ties that I use for every single game. And if I don't, I'll feel like really off, and I like make myself think that I'm going to do like really bad. So yeah.
From the superstitious side now to the actual on-court side, is there any players, whether high school, college, professional level, that you try to model your play style after, or that you kind of take inspiration from?
I don't really watch like college or professional basketball that much, but if I do, I'll like take off, like watch what the like successful ones do, and I'll try to like implement it into my game.
What about some of the seniors that you've had under you in the past Howling games that have taught you how to be a leader? And really, now that you get to be a leader this year, what have you learned through your high school career that helps you be a leader now in this position?
When I was younger, I always looked up to the seniors, especially when I was a freshman and I was starting varsity. I always looked up to them and tried to listen to them and take what they had to say. So now knowing that I could do that for other people, it makes me feel good because I could tell that they're listening and they want to get better. So, yeah.
When did this love of basketball and the game of basketball first start? And when did you first remember? What was one of your first memories of basketball, of actually picking up the basketball and dribbling it around, shooting it around for the first time?
I've been playing basketball. I don't even know how young I was. I used to play at like this YMCA in Sharon, Pennsylvania, where my mom used to live, and I was really young. And I just remember, I don't know, like it was like this co-ed team, and I'll see pictures of it like now, and I don't know. It's just like one of those things that you like remember and
We talked
deep
about
in the subconscious memory bank.
Yeah.
There it is.
We've talked about what these teams already accomplished, but there's still a lot in front of them. A lot of AAC games to play, a lot of league opponents to try to beat. What kind of goals are you guys setting for the rest of the season when you have that mid-season like report that you kind of want to make sure that you take care of here in the last couple months of the year?
Well, we have our league games. We have a few of them that, like in the next 2 weeks, we want to win the league. We know we can do it. We just have to make sure we show up to the harder games and actually come out to play.
With the culture that's been set from all the seniors before you, from all the coaching staff, from all the teachers in there, tell me a little bit about what it means to you to be a Howling Tiger.
It means a lot to me. Just knowing, like it's a good school and a good community. So growing up here, it means a lot. Yeah.
All right, Alyssa, before we let you go, I want to give you the chance to shout out your support system, the people that have been having your back your whole career, and the people that mean so much to you and mean so much to what you've accomplished so far in your basketball journey.
My parents and my grandparents, they've been the biggest supporters out of anyone. My friends too, Coach Pounds, Coach Price, and Coach Clues. And also Coach Steele, he was the coach before here at Howland. I feel like all of them have shaped me into the person and basketball player that I am today.
Final question for you here. I mean, obviously, Big Dog Honors, that's another tool onto your belt to add for this amazing season. But obviously, we know you're not at your ceiling yet. And if anyone thinks you are, you're just going to shatter right through it anyway. So what else can be improved in Alyssa Pompilia's game, and what are you looking to actively trying to get better at in the sport of basketball?
Definitely shooting. I mean, that's something you could probably always get better at, but trying to be more consistent, but also driving the ball more. I feel like I haven't been doing that as much, but like when I do, it's like successful. So I need to start doing that again.
The
Alyssa, thank
score
you
is
so
correct.
much.
She's not scoring enough. That's a problem.
That's
for
right.
any team. That is a problem.
All the AAC teams are just sitting there like, what?
You can score more.
Alyssa, thank you so much for taking the time to join us
Thank
today and
you.
talk with us. Congratulations on Baird Brothers Big
Thank
Dog of the Valley winner, and we look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was our sit down with last week's Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley winner from Howling girls basketball, Alyssa Pompalia. And we're about 5 minutes away from talking to this week's winner. Jenna Mclish will join us live on the show at 1 o'clock. We have some coaches that are going to be coming on tomorrow, too, that we just confirmed. Francis Shelley, Coach Francis Shelley from McDonald, going to be joining us at noon tomorrow.
Yep, and we're excited to be able to talk with Coach Francis Shelley too, and just talk about that McDonald program a little bit, and talking about second half of the season.
I'm sure he's going to be itching to get back on the court. It's been a minute for McDonald. They were shut down for a week, and then unfortunately for them, the same day they were supposed to come back, their opponent shut down. So they've been off the court for quite some time.
Just itching to get back on the hardwood.
Itching indeed. They will get back on the hardwoods. They will hopefully get back on the hardwood tomorrow against Western Reserve at home. That's what they are scheduled to do tomorrow.
Battle of the Blue Devils.
While we are waiting for Jenna Mclish, let's get over to some housekeeping today, as there are 2 games so far that have been canceled for the night, unfortunately. And you see Indian Creek versus Beaver Local. That was supposed to be at Beaver Local. It has been moved to Saturday, January 15th. JV will tip off at 11. So that game has been canceled tonight and is already rescheduled for Saturday the 15th.
Yep. As we're gonna get a lot of these, I feel like around this time. So always stay tuned.
The other matchup that falls tonight is Newton Falls. No pun intended there, but it just worked out. Newton Falls at Brookfield. That game has been postponed. No makeup date as of yet, which means Brookfield's next game will be Monday, traveling to Garrettsville Garfield. That'll be a fun one.
Yeah, that one will be a fun one too. And just to see those 2 teams kind of lock horns right now on that gray side, I think it's going to be a very competitive matchup.
So only 2 games down. That means a lot still to pick for tonight. You can pick along with us at the Twitter poll, which is go to Twitter. The handle is at Running Point YSN, and you can pick tonight's games with us on those polls on Twitter.
Yep, as we love our fan engagement too as well.
Oh my gosh, Tony, you did not pick it. You did not miss Anthony's picks. But I heard that you picked against Poland tonight, so I'm gonna have to tell Connie that her dad's picking against her.
Tony's picking against Poland. He only picked against Poland too. He won't pick against. The only YSN school Tony Cougars picks against is
Poland.
Same one his daughter plays on. Look at you spreading these nasty rumors out here. What are you doing?
Never. Yeah, well, he started it. He was spreading rumors that I picked someone that wasn't Poland. And when on the show,
I'm sure you have, though, Anthony. I mean,
on the show, I absolutely picked Poland to win the game, and he was spreading rumors that I did. Trying to get
all right. Anthony's fine with Poland. He just hates his alumni. He just constantly picks against them. That's the only. It should be Coach Fischel that's on here yelling at you every single day.
Oh man, Fish is not. He's told me that he's not ever gonna be on this show again. So
yeah, he's told you that. He's like, Anthony, that's the last time.
That's the last straw.
He'll come on for me though. I at least picked South Range the other day.
Coincidentally, I haven't heard from Coach Vincent.
Coincidentally, since I picked against him, I have not heard from Coach Fish since.
Huh.
What an odd matchup that's been. Oh man. But now, Anthony, we have games we have to pick tonight, but we also are excited to be talking with Jenna Mclish from Salem as one of the best teams in the area and number 1 ranked, I believe, on the girls' side of the power rankings in the Salem Lady Quakers.
Tough cookie, huh? I've never been described as a tough cookie. Is that a good thing? Like, because you want your cookies soft, right?
You like your soft batch cookies, Ant?
Does anyone like hard, like crunchy cookies? I don't know. We'll ask
I mean, considering that we sell them.
we'll ask Jenna Mclish. Maybe she likes hard cookies.
Yeah.
Soft cookies.
Jenna Mclish will be the determining factor. Cookies hard or crunchy.
Hey!
How are you guys?
Party can officially start because Jenna Mclish has walked in. We'll settle this argument. Hard cookies or soft cookies?
Soft cookies.
There you go.
Yep.
You want to be described as
and
one
when it's
soft
hard, you
cookie?
gotta like warm it up to make it soft.
Right.
Yep.
You want to be described as one soft cookie, Anthony? Is that what you want Tony Kugris to call you?
I don't want to be a tough cookie. No one likes tough cookies.
But without further ado, it is Jenna Mclish, Salem girls basketball big dog of the Valley winner for this week. And Jenna, first and foremost, I mean, I just want to give you the chance to not only just thank the Salem community, but I mean, what was it? 58,000 votes was our tally too that showed up on the girls' side. Yeah, that's absolutely incredible. 58,000 people. So just talk to me about what that means to you that your Salem community, of those 58,000 votes, showed up the strongest and voted you.
Oh no.
It's because you put up that cookie argument, Anthony, and you froze the whole system.
I was about to say you guys all just cut out, so I did not hear that.
Let me try. Let's try one more time. 58,000 votes were cast on the girls' side. Just talk to me a little bit about how much that means to you that the Salem community was the majority of that 58,000 votes that were able to vote you in.
It was definitely exciting, and especially because Riley Hutton got on before too, and the Salem community definitely got together on that as well. And it was exciting to just see, even at our games, the community come together, and just I'm honored to be a part of such a strong community that we have.
Yeah, like you said, this is 2 for 2 now for girls basketball and Big Dogs of the Valley for Salem. You guys are killing it, not just on the voting, but also on the court. Big number 1 in the YSN power rankings for a reason, and one of the large reasons why you guys win your games is defense. Talk about how much pride this team really takes in their defense and holding a majority of your opponents under 30 points.
Yeah, we do. I mean, practices, it's all about defense. I mean, we go into the games and we know we're not the biggest team, so we know we got to do the little things when we get out there. But, I mean, really it just comes together of everybody knows when you're on that court, you just got to give it everything when you're out there. And Hamilton and all the rest of the coaching staff, Bailey, Spack, Coach Drager, I mean, Coach Day, they're awesome. And we just have fun with it too. And we're so competitive even at practice, which helps us during the games a lot.
Let's go jump in the time machine a little bit and go back to where this whole basketball journey started. When was your first memory of basketball, and when did you first find yourself falling in love with the sport?
Oh, gosh. I mean, us girls, we've played together for a long time. I mean, my dad had me in the basement dribbling, both hands, looking up. I mean, Kevin Jameson, Tony Troy. I mean, they all started us super young. We came together in 2nd, 3rd grade, and we've played together since. And it's been an awesome journey with everybody that's been a part of it.
Man, you're bringing up some big names in Salem girls basketball lore there. Name dropping. Speaking of that, in your journey, who are some of the people that you have looked up to, that you have kind of taken as role models as basketball players and tried to not copy your game after, but definitely mold your game after? Now that you've kind of gotten to the pinnacle of your basketball career.
Yeah, definitely growing up, Amy Scullion, that came from Salem, and she was offered at Ohio State for volleyball and basketball, and we'd go and watch her, and it was just like an awesome experience. So like growing up, we were always like, we want to be Amy Scullion, so she was definitely a big role. And then I always looked up to Tori Jones, always worked her butt off when I was little, and I just thought she was just awesome and hoped to be her. And there's a bunch of people, even players that graduated last year, Kyla Jameson, Annie Davidson, Casey Johnson, Lexi Miller. I mean, all of these girls just work their butts off, and that's a big part of Salem. And you just want to go in and fill in those shoes that are hard to do, but it's exciting.
And just a follow-up question real quick, because you were that girl looking up to the girls when you were younger, but now you're in a position where I'm sure little girls are saying, I want to be like Jenna Mclish on the basketball court, or I want to be like one of your teammates. What's that kind of like, knowing that you went through that and now you're in the position where little girls are watching you guys play and succeed and wanting to emulate what you guys are doing?
Yeah, it's actually really exciting. Every Saturday we take the little girls and we work with them and just try to get them involved with us and kind of get a feel for basketball. And it's like awesome because we always sit there and we tell our coach, like, I remember like going to camps and how awesome all these girls were, and they made you want to like work hard. And it's just really awesome to like get to like live the shoes that you dream to be in.
No doubt every level you get through in basketball, the biggest key is just getting better first and foremost. So just talking about your relationship with Coach Hamilton personally, what are some things that Coach has helped you with, not only on the hardwood and becoming a better player, but a better teammate as well?
Hamilton was a volleyball coach before too, so I've had her for years now, and she's just an amazing person overall. I mean, she always holds you to a high standard, and if you think you can't do it, I mean, she's gonna hold you as high as she can because she knows what you got and she knows what this team has. And a big part of our success, obviously, is from her because she holds us up here. And if we're not there, I mean, we're gonna hear about it, and she's gonna make us make up for it. So she's awesome.
You look at your final scores, and there have been a lot of close games already in this season for you guys. A lot of people would say when they're looking at your scores, well, this offense is struggling. But what I will say to that was they make big shots when they need to down the stretch. I mean, clutch shots go in when you guys need to score. Where does this clutching come from? Where's the confidence come from at the end of the game to be able to score when you guys absolutely need to score?
I mean, yeah, we definitely have players that step up every night, which, I mean, on stats, it's hard to stop one player because you don't know who's going to step up each night. But when the time comes, I mean, we've been in district championship last year, losing with 4.4 seconds left. I mean, our confidence in the games that we've been in have been tough, but they've definitely like shaped us to where we are. And it started at a young age too, competing against a bunch of teams and where we are today.
Aside from Salem High School, because that's too easy, what are some of your favorite places that you've played basketball on, courts that you've played basketball on, and where's one that you'd like to check off your list as kind of a dream place to play?
One of my favorite places we played at was our last tournament, my 6th grade year, and we had played with these girls since 3rd grade, and we went against big teams like Lake, Glen Oak, and we walked in there, and I mean, you know me, Krista Barley, I mean, we're 5 foot. We probably weren't even that tall then, so it was awesome walking in because all these teams are like, they can't hang, and then we get out there and we just play our game and not try to shut them down on their game, just do what we got to do. So that was probably one of my favorite places I've played at, but yeah.
Speaking of away gyms you play at, I'll never forget this year at South Range. I see Jenna Mclish come outside of the behind the benches, under the benches, like she like coming out of Narnia or something under the benches, and it was all to rescue a pack of gum.
That did happen. Kaylee Carlisle, she's amazing, and Diana Barley, Krista's mom, got us. She always gives us gum before the game, and Kaylee accidentally dropped it. And she's like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And I'm like, it's okay, I'll go get the gum. So we went over and she was like, we can't get back there. And I was like, it's all right, we'll get the gum.
I got this. Yeah, Jenna's got this. Rescue mission, desperate rescue mission. But that comes into play, the routines that you have before the game. Are there any superstitions on your side of routines that you have to keep in warm-ups or game days that you kind of feel off if you don't meet up to them?
I'm very, like, with what I wear, it has to be like the same. and then I have to listen to the same playlist. It's got to go sad, country, and then you got to go to a little bit of pump up music, and then I can't be too serious before a game. I never play good if I am. So with this group, we like to just have fun with each other, which really helps a lot. So get your mind away from the game, but still like in the game, that you aren't completely set on being so focused.
Obviously, with all the success the Salem team has had and the success you've had in your career, there's a lot of things that I'm sure you've checked off your list as far as goals are concerned. But I mean, looking at the rest of this season and what's to come for you, what are some other goals that are on Jenna Mclish's list, both inside the sport of basketball and if you have some outside the sport that you'd like to share as well?
Yeah, definitely have a lot of goals, and I mean, I focused more on the team goals, so we're hoping to just take it one game at a time, give us the strong defense we like to come out with, and just we're hoping by the end of the year we can set a school record for the lowest points scored in a game for keeping our opponents under. So that's a big goal that we have. And then just goal overall for me is just try my hardest in what I do, and especially being my last year, I'm just trying to have fun with these girls and take in all the moments I can and just have the best year I can.
You might also break the record for lowest points given up by a total season in program. I mean, this is remarkable. Every game, they held this team to 24. They held this team to 25. Good offenses come in like Canfield, and they held them to 31. It's phenomenal. When you look at this season and the way it's gone, and I know last night, big night in the EBC, you guys got the win, obviously, but I know you guys were probably scoreboard watching. West Branch beats Marlington, so it's this big three-way tie up at the top of the EBC, which sets you guys up perfectly for the second half of EBC play. Talk about the goals ahead, and I know no one in Salem ever roots for West Branch. Can't do it. But it had to be a little bit of a smirk when you saw that they won, which means everyone's kind of tied for first going into the second half of conference play.
Yeah, it's definitely a clean slate for everybody, but I mean, we got talented teams all throughout our EBC, so we just got to go out there and take it one game at a time, like I said earlier, because you never know what's going to happen. So you can't go in there thinking like we've got this, because, I mean, West Branch has girls that step up each night. Marlington has girls that step up each night. And, I mean, just there's awesome athletes in our EBC, and it's just an exciting conference that we have. So
it's a perfect coach's answer. Coach Hamilton will be very proud.
You talked about being a senior too, and I want to give you that time to kind of reflect on your career as a Lady Quaker and just your time spent in Salem schools as well. What has this kind of meant to you, and is there any influences or any big inspirations that you like to thank at the Salem schools for your time there?
Yeah, Salem, being a part of Salem, my parents went to Salem, so it's always like you always got to wear the name proudly, and it's just this community and the school that we have. It's just I'm blessed to be a part of it, and one of the big influences I have to say goes to Mr. Ziegler that used to coach basketball. He's just an amazing guy, and he's always there for me, joking around, and he's just amazing. So I absolutely love that guy, and especially the Zamarellis. They've always been there for me. Lori Brooks, Becky Carner. I mean, the people, I could go on with a bunch of people in this community, but it's just amazing. The people that you get to grow up with, and they get to see me grow as from a little, I mean, I'm still little, but just seeing how I've matured over the years and just having them a part of it and them guiding me to where I am today.
All right, Jenna, before we let you go, like we do with every player profile, we want to give you the chance to kind of shout out your support system, the people that have had your back throughout your whole career, and kind of what they mean to you in your journey.
Yeah, obviously my parents play a big role, not even on the court, but in school or just anything that I do. My parents have always been there for me, and I couldn't be more blessed to have them. And not even just my parents, my all the rest of my family, they're always the first people to text me and just always there for me when I need it. And also, I've had amazing coaches over the years that have shaped me completely to where I am today. And I just and my friends, they're awesome. I just love the community and the people I've grown up with, and I couldn't be more blessed.
Jenna, my final question for you now. I mean, looking at it, and you mention it all the time too. So I want to look at it as an outlook for the rest of the season, and I guess for the team, you guys can kind of take this identity. You always you mentioned the height disadvantage. You were mentioning it even back as early as 6th grade. Talk to me. Is this something that helps motivate you each and every game? Do you come in with this I'm an underdog mentality, and you just have this? Do you have this mentality that everyone's already counting you out? Are you trying to make yourself mad, or what is that mentality like going into it? Because it seems like you're always going in with the underdog mentality.
For sure. I mean, walking into the court, you have teams that start laughing because, I mean, they're 5 foot. What are they gonna do? And it's just awesome because you go out there and they're like, all right, these girls can play. So it's just funny to see. I mean, you'll have fans that like kind of laugh during scrimmages. Like over the years, we walked in against like Northwest, and they're huge, and we're just like, oh wow, and they all were laughing. And then we walked in and it was like, all right, these girls can play. So it's just, you just kind of go in just thinking like you got to do what you've been coached to do. You can't think like you got to stop them in the post because they have to figure out how to stop us somewhere else. So
Jenny, it might be small, but you play big. One of the reasons why you've won Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Congratulations on that, the great start to the season, and we wish you the best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
See ya.
Thanks for bringing the party. Jenna always bringing the party. As soon as
What a fantastic interview! Infectious as far as the energy that she brings to each interview too. And I mean, a lot of things to be excited about in Salem. I mean, obviously you're a Big Dog winner now, but #1 in the power rankings. It seems like everything's going right over there in Salem.
As soon as Jenna won,
2 Big Dog winners now too.
As soon as Jenna won, I thought to myself, we're gonna have some fun on Running Point.
Oh, I mean, she like we said, she absolutely does, and that's what I always like asking too. And it's not just Jenna. A lot of players have that mentality when they are on the shorter side, girls and boys side, and it just comes with the game of basketball. We always say you can't teach height, but you can't teach heart either, and that's where a lot of teams make up for it. And you got to have a lot of heart, and you got to be willing to do some things that the taller players are unwilling to do. And you'll see those shorter girls, you're closer to the ground for a reason. That's why you dive for the ball a lot more than the taller ones do. And that's why you're able to grab and get a hold of a lot of those loose balls. And I love that mentality, because when you have a player that comes in, and a lot of teams have these type of players, or some of them, not a lot, I shouldn't say, but some of them have these type of players where the shortest player on the court is always the one that I first look at, especially if they're in a starting 5, because I know that they're going to give 110% every single play that they have, because they have to. You have to, because you have something to prove each and every time you step on the court. And it's funny because the fans initially too, that's just your thought. Basketball is a game where you look at height and you see a shorter girl or guy and you think, oh, they're probably not going to be able to do much. And they often always end up balling out.
It's funny because sometimes it works the other way too. You see a girl or guy come out and they're like 6'3", and you're like, oh man, this is going to be a tough night. And then all of a sudden you realize, well, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be great at basketball. I mean, you can be 6'3" and not exactly the most coordinated person in the world. So, yeah, it goes both ways. I think basketball is not a sport you can judge by the cover.
No, absolutely not. It's very easy to try to, because you think height. But another perfect example of this is I've commentated on all the Fitch boys home games this season, and Coach Brian Beanie will tell you every single game they're at a height disadvantage. And every single game that I've seen at home, I believe there's been a guy that is 6'6" or above. Gerdick was there.
Canfield. I mean, Canfield's got multiple.
Yeah, Gerdick was 6'6" plus at Canfield. Ligonhole was 6'6", 6'7" for Louisville. Fitch has done a great job of neutralizing, with the exception of Gerdick, who scored 15, almost completely taking bigs out of a game plan. So just because you have height, yes, it makes it easier. You're a little bit closer to the bucket, but it doesn't mean that teams can't game plan for you. There's too many great athletes and too many great coaching minds in the area that it's not like the 70s and 80s style of basketball. You can't get by with height alone anymore. And there is that mentality that still exists today where you think that height alone can get you there, but you need skills paired with height too, and you need a solid game plan and solid teammates with it. So you look at that too, and I love that with our area too. It doesn't necessarily matter how tall you are. It depends on what game plan you're using and the execution the players are doing on the court.
And to bring the X's and O's into it, the one reason why Salem always does well against teams that have a height advantage, and you can watch the West Branch game for an example, they put so much pressure on your guards that it's hard to just lob it into the paint and say we're going to use. I mean, you can't get through. You can't set up your offense because they're immediately putting pressure on you as soon as you get the ball. So, ball pressure can be a good equalizer for teams that want to try to throw it into the paint, because if you make it hard for the pass to get there, then it doesn't matter how tall the girl is or guy.
You cut off those passing lanes too. I mean, there's multiple ways you can make it tough for a team to try to play bully ball.
Let's be honest, what Salem lacks in height, they make up for in quickness and agility. They are the fastest team I've seen this year as a team as a whole. It is extremely hard to transition against them. I've seen plenty of athletic teams try to run out. It's just not going to happen. They are so fast with the ball. They rotate so well, and that's another reason why their defense is so good.
And I'd venture to say about 80 to 85% of your best high-scoring teams in the entire state and the entire country at the high school level are because they get a bulk of their points. I'd say plus 50%. The teams and the boys that are averaging over 80, girls that are averaging over 60, they're getting it in the transition game. They're getting it because they're getting it out. Someone's out either cherry picking, or they're getting a steal at the half court and they're getting it out in the transition. So what a lot of coaches will say, if you could shut down that transition game and force teams to get all their offense in a half court, then you're doing something right too, and you have a chance to win a lot of ball games, because transition is where a lot of those high-scoring teams love to make up their points.
Yeah, and once again, Salem kind of neutralizes a lot of teams' ability to run out and get transition layups, and that's why they're sitting with the record they're sitting at, and they have the wins that they do have. By the way, we cut off our recaps or scores from last night. I want to remind everybody that Salem got the win 49-29 over an Alliance team. That Alliance as a program is in the struggle category. We know that. They haven't won an EBC game since 2010. But good news for the Aviators, at least. They have more wins this year than they've had in the last 3 wins combined. So they're definitely putting the pieces together. And once again, 29 points, under 30 again. This is an Aviators team in their last 2 games scored 66 and 73.
Basketball, too, is a game of ups and downs. You're going to have up and down years. And, I mean, every team, with the exception of a few really, really good programs, has had at least one down year in probably the last 10. So you look at that and you realize that it's growing pains some teams have to go through. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer to adjust. But, hey, the big shining point in that, and you say you haven't won an EBC game, good thing is the EBC is a very, very tough conference. So you're getting better every single time you play your West Branches, your Marlingtons, your Salems. That's improving the team, whether you believe it or not. You look at the score and you might not think it, but getting that experience against this type of talent, this level of talent, is only going to help the Aviators. And you know they're going to be able to turn that program around eventually.
Just to be specific, I want to make sure I get this. So Alliance in the last 2 games before that Salem game, they played on December 30th, and they had to play 2 games within a 5-hour span. So their first game started at 11:45. Their next game started at 4:30. They beat St. Martin de Porres out of Cleveland 63-25, and then they beat Ravenna 76-45. So their last 2 offensive putouts were 76 and 63, and Salem held them to 29.
As the lady Lady Quakers do a great job of that too. And when we see what the Lady Quakers here, you see all these games, and I'm just looking at them, and I mean, there's just a list. And if the ones that have scored over 30, it's like 31, 33, 35. Not many are scoring over 40 then in that
I believe
next
the
level.
only two to get over 40 are Marlington, who beat Salem, and Howling in the first game of the year.
Yep, and I mean that just those two teams alone, the Dukes are obviously a fantastic team, obviously 9-1 on the year now, and they're going to continue to be tough. And Howland is one of the more prolific scoring teams, I think, in the entire area and sitting in that AAC. So absolute props to Salem's defense this year. It's absolutely incredible.
Let's take our second break of the day, come back, and we'll start our journey into our pick'em here for Thursday night basketball. Don't go anywhere. On Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Working with your family can be stressful at times, but because they're family, you know that you're going to get a loving, honest answer, even when things don't make sense to any problem. Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air,
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
online,
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
on social media, and on our app.
Notice we'll have scattered showers on Thursday.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Jimmy Sutton here, director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and two of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
Your teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig with you. Lost my cursor for a minute. Alongside Ty Bartell. And Ty, it is time for the Thursday edition of Pick'em on Running Point. We have games to pick. I want to remind everybody that there are two matchups tonight that are canceled. Indian Creek and Beaver Local has been rescheduled to January 15th, and Brookfield and Newton Falls has been canceled. The makeup date not yet determined. Other than those two, everything going off the way it should tonight, as far as we have been told.
As far as I've heard too, I haven't heard anything different than you guys have either. So I mean, I think we're all good on this end.
So let's go to Twitter and check out the polls. And Ty, I won last night, so I get to defer. And it is going to be, the first pick is going to be Springfield versus Jackson Milton. I'm going to let you know, because I'm going to be a nice competitor, and tell you that Carla Blankenfort is back on the lineup. She played on Monday against Boardman, so she will be, the Jackson Milton will be at full strength. And they are going to play Springfield, which is what it should be. I mean, when they're playing this caliber of team and it's MVAC, top of the MVAC on the line, you want to see Jackson Milton at full strength. So right now the fan poll has an 86% Springfield. That's a little bit more lopsided than I thought it would be. But 86% Springfield right now on the fan voting. Ty, it is your first pick. Who do you got?
I'll go Springfield as well. I think Carla Blankenfort's going to add a lot to the Scarlet side, but for me, and everyone that I've seen, I think it might take a little bit of adjusting to get her back into it. They're going to need probably a little bit to adjust, and this is a heck of a team to get your feet wet after being gone for a little bit. So I got to go with the Lady Tigers here.
This is tough because obviously the Tigers escaped with their lives against Western Reserve on Monday in the overtime, 39-38. And yes, Jackson Milton lost, but they were exposed to a really higher level of basketball than they normally play in Boardman with the loss to the Spartans. So I feel like, it's like almost playing against that, and then all of a sudden you're playing against Springfield. You're back to reality a little bit.
It was a good game though to get them prepared for this one though too. It was a tough one, but I've gotten up to a tie, and I'm only trailing by 1. And when I was trailing by 8, I started going with the mentality of go with not only gut reaction, but go with the teams that have been there before until someone proves to knock them off. Obviously, Jackson Milton was a tough team, and
neither of these teams have been here before, though.
Yeah, and I mean that's the problem. But I mean, you look at it though, and I just look at and then after I go I'll go gut reaction. I go who's been there before, and then finally I just go with our power rank teams. And with that, I'm gonna go with Springfield in this game.
I can't pick against J.C. Mullen and Maddie Lesnick. I'm gonna go with Springfield as well.
Gonna be a tough one though, I think.
Especially at home. So now we move on to the next one. It'll be my first pick. Harrison Central traveling to East Liverpool. Right now, the Potters own 67% of the fan vote on Twitter. Once again, if you want to pick along with us, head over to Twitter. The handle is at Running Point YSN, and you can find the pick threads on that profile. So Harrison Central at East Liverpool. I'm going to rock the banner. Go with the Potters.
Oh, he's going Potters on this one.
Shaping up a win.
If I'm correct, I'm gonna go with
I'll go with Harrison Central.
All right, so you're going to split with me.
I'm going to split with you right off the gate.
All right, so let's go to our next one, and we have Lowville going to Sebring tonight. It is 100% Lowville on the fan vote. 11 votes, all going to the Rockets. Ty, do you see it being this overwhelmingly lopsided?
I don't think it's going to be this overwhelmingly lopsided. I actually wouldn't be surprised if this one actually turns out to be a closer game than what a lot of people expect. Getting a chance to see both of these teams this year, I will say I think Lowville in this particular matchup is just a little bit further ahead as far as what they have talent level right now. I'm not saying that Sebring can't have these girls develop into something stronger, but I also think Sebring has a lot of youth that's going on in Sebring too, and they're doing a good job, I think, in trying to build that program. I think it's going to be a lot closer than what the fan vote's saying. I wouldn't be surprised if this game's decided with 7 points or less, actually, and I'll be the first to say that. But I'm going to go Lowville in this one.
I'll take Lowville as well to get the win on the road. My first pick next, and we go into the NE8 for Lakeview traveling to Hubbard. Both teams with tough losses on Monday. Hubbard dropping the game to Jefferson. Lakeview dropping the game to Poland. Both of them were by more than 15 points. Obviously, Lakeview lost by 33. Hubbard lost by, I believe, 14.
This is a tough pick, and I'm glad I don't have to make it first.
That's not more than 15 at all. That's 14. No, I'm going to take Hubbard on at home to get the win. I think their defense is going to do a good job keeping Lakeview in check and do a good enough job to give their offense enough time to score.
I was gonna. I mean, as much as I do see, I wanted to go.
Lakeview has some good wins.
That's the thing. I think about Lakeview's win against Girard, and that's what's slipping me up on.
See, what got me is I don't know if CH Triplet was in that lineup.
Yeah, and
beat Girard because now she's back and she makes Girard a little bit more full as a team. So I don't remember if she was there when Lakeview beat them.
Well, I mean, that's the big thing, too, because I believe Hubbard's lost to Girard, too. But, I mean, obviously, you take that out the window. Anyone beats anyone on any given night. But that is definitely an interesting thing to look at. I like what Lakeview's doing. I like the type of roster and team that they're building. But my initial gut reaction said go with the Eagles, go with Hubbard, and I'm not going to go against it. I'm going to go with Hubbard in this one.
Fan vote agrees. Hubbard has 70% of the vote on Twitter. We go to our next one. This will be your first pick. Crestview taking their 4-game winning streak to Garrettsville. They'll take on Garfield. Garfield with 75% of the fan vote right now.
I love what Coach Blatch and Crestview's doing. I think the Lady Rebels look at a lot like the Lady Falcons of Fitch, getting a hot streak at a good time right now. But just what Garfield did against Fort Fry alone was enough for me to be very impressed with this Lady G-Men team. So much so that I'm going to pick them in this one. I got to go with Garrettsville Garfield after that game.
Yeah, I think that loss to Fort Fry was like the last straw. It was
that fantastic Fort Fry team. Like, if anyone doesn't know, that's one of the best teams in the state.
That's a Fort Fry team. They came within an eyelash of upsetting Berlin Highland. Yes, that Berlin Highland in the regional tournament. So they can shoot. They hit 12 threes against South Range, that's for sure, and they hit a buzzer beater to beat Garfield in day one of the Holiday Hoops Classic at South Range. But the next game, where Garfield had a smaller halftime lead than they had against Fort Fry, and this time was able to capitalize on it and build on it to beat a Nordonia team that is a very good program as well. I think that loss, that was like the last straw. They had all their losses except West Branch, I believe. They've had the lead in the fourth quarter, and they've given it up. So I think that Fort Fry one was like the final moment where Garfield's like, this has to stop. And they kept their lead against Nordonia, and then they came out and they beat up Newton Falls on Monday. They're feeling good about themselves. A couple of milestones were reached. Sarah Seaman became the career three-point leader at Garfield. Jenna Smith got the 1,300 career points. So I think Garfield is feeling really good. I think they're home against Crestview. I think they're going to win.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the home court advantage, too, is just enough to put them over the edge, I think.
So now we continue on to our polls. As once again, Garfield has the not the slight edge, the big edge, 75 to 25% in that poll. And we go on to look at Champion versus La Brea, a big one in the MVAC gray tier, as Champion looking to keep pace with Liberty, both teams undefeated in the MVAC gray tier. Right now, the fan vote is 90% Champion in 10 votes. So 9 out of 10 people voting for the Flashes. Ty, it's your first pick, and it's a big one.
It is a big one, and Laura Mccoy has looked really good for the Lady Vikings, and I don't want to take anything away from LeBray, but Champion has just really impressed me a lot this year, and I think there's a lot to be impressed with over there at Champion. We had a great conversation with Coach Cole after finally being able to get him on too. So we got a little bit more of a preview of this team. I'd like to. I'm gonna pick Champion in this one. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm convinced with it. There's not much more that they can do to convince me that they're one of the better basketball teams in the area. Give me the Lady Flashes. Go out there and prove it tonight.
I got the Flashes as well. We move on to a big rivalry in the MVAC Scarlet tier, Western Reserve versus McDonald. This game has decided the league the last several years. Not exactly that monumentous as far as the MVAC standings right now, but still a big game for both programs. Western Reserve came ever so close to beating Springfield on Monday. McDonald with that big win over Jackson Milton before Christmas. So both teams have either come very close to beating a top team or beaten a top team. And this is my first pick. I'll be calling this game as well. You know what? I'm going to go with Western Reserve. I think they have that one girl they can go to score in big situations in Brooke Chance. So I'm going to say Western Reserve gets the win over McDonald. The fan vote agrees. They have 80% Western Reserve right now in 10 votes.
I'm going to go Western Reserve as well. And not taking anything away from McDonald's win against Jackson Milton, but like we said too with like Lakeview against Girard, not having Blankafort kind of threw a cog in that whole Jackson Milton offense. And McDonald, like good teams are supposed to, took advantage of it and came away with the win. But as impressed as I was with McDonald and Coach Matizzi over there, I was very impressed with what Western Reserve and Coach Miller did against the other Coach Matizzi with Springfield. And I think this is a Lady Blue Devils team over in Western Reserve that Coach Miller has said too. They're not going to be exactly like this team they were last year, and don't expect that right off the gate. This is a team that has a lot to learn. It's a team that has to improve. And I think you're starting to see that now. And I think that game against Springfield, it isn't the culmination of all of it, but it's one of the first steps you're seeing of this team's getting back to what we know them to be. And that competitive Lady Blue Devil Western Reserve style basketball team we know them to be. Good game from them against Springfield. I think they're going to put it all together tonight.
They were a Maddie Lesnack 3 away from winning that game in overtime. Unfortunately, for them, they fell by 1 point. We move on to the next one, Camel visiting Liberty. Liberty has 92% of the vote, so there is one person that believes in the Red Devils pulling off the upset tonight. Are you that one person?
I can't be that one person, Anthony, just because of what Liberty's done. They've been so impressive. They have a 0 big old goose egg in that loss column, and I think it stays that way tonight. I'm going Lady Leopards.
I can't get on that train either. I'm going to go with Liberty to win tonight at home and stay undefeated in the MVAC and possibly keep pace with Champion if they were able to get the win as well. Newton Falls and Brookfield is canceled, but the fans were heavily favored into Brookfield. They have a 91% to 9% edge in that poll. So next we go to Struthers in the Fieldhouse. They played South Range tough, lost by 5. They welcome in a complete Girard team with CH the triplet back in the lineup. And right now, Struthers, even with that, still having the fan vote edge, a little one, 56 to 44%. I believe it's my first pick. And I am going to go with the road team, Girard, to get the win in Struthers.
I was kind of hoping you'd do that. Give me the Lady Cats at home.
Getting the claws out. You believe in Chloe Nieder. It's all good. We're good. So we split on that one. Middle Ridge versus Waterloo. This one will be in Atwater. And the Vikings have a 64% to 38% edge in the fan poll. Ty, Waterloo's is your sweetheart school. Are you picking them tonight?
You even have to ask me for that. Give it to them. Give it to them. Give them the heart. I go Lady Vikings all day, every day.
I'm going to take the Vikings as well in this one. Columbiana goes to Southern, and the fan vote has this one 80% Clippers. My first pick, I'm going to go with the fans and pick the Clippers to beat Southern.
Yeah, and you know what? That was one, I think. Didn't we both get it wrong the other day? Didn't we both pick United over Columbiana? And
No, United won for the girls.
What was it? We picked, was it boys that one of them, Columbiana proved us wrong again. Like they've done a lot this season.
Well, it must have been, I don't know. Yeah, they've done it to you a couple of times.
Every time I pick against them, they win, but when I pick for them, they lose. So it's like it's a lose-lose situation for me. They either have me lose or, oh man, just trying to think of everyone that they've. I'm gonna go. You know, I mean, I'm gonna go Southern. I'm gonna go Southern on this one and split with you because Lady Clippers are gonna lose if I pick them anyway, and they're just gonna win if I pick against them anyway. So
you're splitting.
There's probably one for you, Anthony. I probably just gave you another point that way, but Lady Clippers and Columbiana just has a problem with me picking for or against them either way. So either way, I'm screwed.
You're picking against them so they can win. So really, you're rocking the banner.
I'm kind of trying to rock the banner. I know if I pick them, they'll probably lose because I think every time they have. So go Columbiana, but I'm picking Southern.
Badger hitting the road to play soccer. Right now, Badger has the 73% edge on the fan poll. What do you got in this one? You better rock the banner on this one.
Oh, why? Oh, now I'm going to get peer pressured into picks. I thought this was all about winning, Anthony.
You're all about peer pressure.
He said, not peer pressure. He's like, you just better rock the banner.
We're nowhere close to a peer. What are you talking about?
He's like, we have docks.
We're landlocked. We're in East Palestine.
Yeah, give me Badger.
Badger. Matthews at Wyndham. Matthews has the fan vote edge, and it is 63% to 37%. I'll take Matthews.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to rock Matthews right there with you. I think the Matthews girls basketball team hasn't been doing too bad. I think they're right at 5-5 if I'm not mistaken. So I think they'll be a solid team.
Going to scurry through the rest of these as well. Poland making that long trip to Jefferson as they conclude the first half of NE8 play. Still undefeated in the league, looking to keep that record intact. Right now, the fan vote 91% Poland. What do you think?
Yeah, give me Coach Blanche and the Lady Bulldogs. They've looked really good. I think this is going to be a slobber knocker of a game, though. I really do. I think it'll be fun.
In his interview with me on Monday, he noted that they do not play well in Jefferson. They haven't most of the years that he's been there. Been able to win, but not to his standards. So we'll see how that game goes. I'm going to pick Poland as well. Wellsville goes to Latonia. I'm going to pick Latonia to get this win. They have the fan vote edge 67% to 33% tie. I'm going Latonia. Where are you going?
I'm going to go Latonia. I think Ella Gregorino is going to be dropping dimes tonight.
Let's see. Lisbon going to East Palestine. The Blue Devils, 90% edge in the fan vote. Ty, where are you going?
Wow. This one's actually tougher too for good reason too, because Lisbon girls basketball. And you said what, East Palestine, correct, is the game?
Yep, at East Palestine.
All right. It's at East Palestine.
Mm-hmm. 2 more after this, I think.
Let me go.
Yep.
See, I know East Palestine, I don't think has won a game yet this year, but I don't let records like that define because Waterloo just got there first too. Trying to think of the only thing I'm gonna go with. I'll go with Lisbon in this one. I think East Palestine might be able to keep it close, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Lady Bulldogs get their first win. I'm a little bit more worried about the defense of East Palestine stopping and slowing down Lisbon than I am for East Palestine to score, but I'm going to have to go with Lady Blue Devils and Lisbon in this one.
All right, we stay in the EOAC. Valley Christian traveling to United. Ty, it's your first pick. United has the lead in the fan vote, 80% to 20%.
I think it's your first pick, my friend. You didn't pick
I
East
just
Palestine.
picked the last one.
You didn't pick first East.
I didn't pick it?
I don't think you picked it at all because I think you picked first the one before that.
Lisbon. I picked Lisbon. All right, now my first pick, I picked United to beat Valley Christian.
Okay, I go United as well.
And last but not least, South Range traveling to Niles, 90% to 10% go to the Raiders. One person believing in the Dragons that they can shock the world and knock the Raiders off pace. They're trying to keep pace with Poland, so that second matchup will be for the Indiana crown. But they travel to Niles tonight and put that one to the test.
I'm sure Coach Butler and the entire Lady Red Dragon community would love nothing more than to play spoiler for the Raiders. But got to go with what's gotten you there. And I know South Range and Poland have been the class of that girls' side. Got to go with the Lady Raiders.
Fish, I'm not picking against you tonight.
Yeah, he's going to actually pick his alma mater tonight.
I'll go with South Range as well. So that'll conclude our picks. Let's see, Ty, we split on, I believe, 3.
I believe so. The Columbiana game we split on. The Harrison Central East Liverpool game we split on. And then there was one more in there, I believe. Struthers
and Gerard.
Yep, those are the 3 we split on. So Struthers, Gerard, East Liverpool, Harrison Central, and then
Columbiana Southern.
I got Southern. I got Harrison Central because I'm a bad guy, and I got Struthers. And you got Gerard, you got East Liverpool, and you got, what was the last game? Columbiana.
All right, it's the moment of truth, Ty. It is time to see where the Baird Brothers big dog of the voting has gotten in the last 2 hours since we started the show. It was at 8,630. And right now, the girls' total is 6,812. And the guys' total is 4,114.
That is 10,900 and it gets to 11,000. They just barely, they did it. That's right there. That's at 10,950. They brought you within 50 of a win, Anthony, and they stopped. They stopped 50 shy to just spite you. That might not even be the case, but that's the story I'm going with, and you can't convince me otherwise.
10,939
votes. You pushed the envelope. I didn't take the bait, and you still almost won.
They might
can't believe it's another week.
I'm gonna refresh that in like 3 minutes. It just stall on the show for the next 3 minutes.
Yeah,
because we haven't.
You watch it's gonna be like 202.
We haven't gone
well over 11,000.
We haven't gone off there yet, so.
Anthony's gonna find the gray area. This
is the home court advantage I have because I have the in-stream button, so I can decide when the show ends.
I always play on the road. Then most of the.
And then I am gonna milk this until I have to. Oh man, 39 votes, guys. 39 votes in 3 minutes. Come on.
Oh, he's gonna call on them to get votes.
Come on, let's go. Anthony needs a win. It's 4-0 tie.
But if Ty leaves, does it count? If Ty presses the button on his computer that says end stream right
Ty
now,
doesn't have his control panel computer up because I can see it. because he has to have a separate laptop open to have the control panel. He doesn't have that one up. What are you doing? What are you flipping through?
I'm not flipping through. I'm just
the
flipping
rule
through.
book. I hear papers turning. Looking for the rule book. There is none because I made it.
Either way, I'm marking it down in my little booklet here as another win for Todd.
No, not yet.
Anthony's the one who wanted to call the show. He wanted
Not
to
yet. I
call the
never said
voting.
we're done.
He said, let's check the voting. Saw he lost and now wants to extend the game.
We're going to extend it.
Goat. Michael Jordan never lost a game and said, put another minute on the clock. We're down by 4. I'm going to milk this one out till I get the win.
We're over 11,000. Woo! 11,058. They really came through. They got about 100 votes in the last 5 minutes. Ha!
I still won't accept the loss. You called it.
Well, you can challenge it all you want. The judge approves.
I don't give a damn about the judge. I'll go to the owner, and I'll get the rule breaker on that. I'll go right to Mr. DJ Yoakley to rule break this for
Whatever
us.
you want. Shoot it in.
Doesn't need to be when the show ends. It needs to be when you call it. You said, let's check the voting and get our final total on the night. And then you got the final total. You lost by 39. Was pissed you lost by 39. Said, let's put some more time on the clock like some crooked judge would to try to give you the win. I ain't accepting it. Come back next week, Ant. You could try again. They came.
Somebody please comment. Weigh in on this.
Ant wants other judges now. Oh, man.
Come on, we have some viewers still. Someone comment. Oh, man.
Be sure to tune in tomorrow. Got a couple of coaches coming on in the first hour of the show. And then, of course, we got the entire weekend of picks coming up in the second hour of the show tomorrow. So be sure you tune in. Francischelli from McDonald's starts us off. And then Matizzi from Springfield at 12:30. I'm sure we got a lot to talk about for both the boys and girls side of the MVAC Scarlet tier. Get a little bit of perspective for both of them.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 games on the network tonight for girls basketball. So we'll have you covered. And the first tip-off is in Jackson Milton. No, actually, scratch that. First tip-off will be in East Liverpool. They'll tip off at 5:30. CJ Troge with the call there. Then Jackson Milton, the hosting Springfield. That'll tip off at 6 o'clock. You know, Brian going to be in the Blue Jays nest for that one.
We were running point for you guys for the first 2 hours. We're going to go ahead and dish our pass off over to the casual guys with the Casual Sports Podcast from 2 to 3. Bring in the power for down low with the power hour coming in at 3 and 4. And then we'll serve you up a baker's dozen of games here tonight, all starting at 5:30 p.m. Don't miss it. ysnlive.com. You know where to find it.
Wellsville, Latonia at 6:15. Girard and Struthers at 6:45. And then the rest of the games tip off at 7. So we'll have you covered. Some start time staggered a little bit, but from 6 till the end of the night, we will be broadcasting games. And as always, you can go to ysnlive.com for stories and recaps, as well as our social medias for final scores. So for Anthony Hartwig, Ty Bartell, and everyone here at Ysn's Running Point, we thank you for tuning in. Well, we're taking a 22-hour break. We'll be back tomorrow from 12 to 2.